gentlemen, welcome to the call tonight, the training call. Looks good to see you, Miss Clans, or Miss Lynn, Mr. Clemens, Miss Brewer. How you doing, young lady? Got the boss lady on here. Jordan, Edmund Smith, Daryl, Mr. Shang, and Megbor. Glad to have you guys on here. Mr. Thomas, I see you there, sir. You're hiding. Mr. Brian Glenn, how you doing, brother? And Miss Natalie Parr, welcome to the call, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, hoping everybody got some good training in this weekend and was able to make some contacts and put yourself in position to start growing or continue to grow business. We're going to go over a couple of things tonight. We're going to use several of our IBOs that we have on our team that we've dealt with to try and maybe get people to see another way to grow your business, if that makes sense. So it's always good to hear how people are doing things. Where are you creating your success? And maybe you can grab onto that and carry on and sweep up a little bit of what's being done. So with that being said, we'll probably need, when he gets on, Mr. Clemens, Mr. Ed Navarro. So we'll be able to unlock his, unmute him when we get a chance. So, but going over things here with my other half, my better half, like I say, we're El Nacho Libre and Hector. So, but I want to thank you guys for being on here again and let my queen take it over.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm super excited about tonight's call. So I always think of what can I pass on to people that can help everybody in their business. So I want to go through some real life scenarios and how we have applied this in our business and part of the system, because people always hear, and I say this all the time, we hear this, the system, the 27-year system, but most people have no idea what the system is, right? So I'm going to go through some of the scenarios with these new business partners and so forth that we're going to see real life applied and how we've been growing our business and how we've been having success by following the system, okay? So first of all, I'm going to talk about, because we're mainly focusing right now on building our latter legs at this point in time so we can get to the next position of regional vice president. And so those are the people we've been working with right now. So one of the stories of somebody, an individual, he's an executive team leader. This gentleman followed up with somebody for 4 months. Okay, so he went back in August, so it was last August, and he went to this person. I will tell you if he was on the phone call. I don't know if he's on. Is he on yet? Not yet. No, he might not be on, but basically he would tell you he said too much. And how I found out was because when we had a conversation, he said something about, yeah, he heard about this already. And I said, really? How did he hear about this? Okay, what did he hear about? You know, so basically through the conversation, as I continued with this individual, he obviously said too much, right? Because people shouldn't hear about this already unless we've said too much. Okay, so he realized he was saying too much to people. I know we're all guilty of it. I did exactly the same thing. We're super excited and we have a tendency to just talk people right into the business and talk them right out of it, right? Okay, so he kind of did that. And so for 4 months, we followed up with this person, okay? We went over there, we finally got him to see the business, but even at that point, he still wasn't ready to get started, okay? I met his wife. She's an amazing lady. And so we even to the point where this is because remember, people don't care how much you know until what? They know how much you care. So what happened was she was pregnant. I met her when she was pregnant. And then she ended up going to the hospital. So during that time, I took the liberty to go and take some food to the family, knowing they had 4 kids. I was like, okay, you know, the wife's in the hospital. What can I do? What can I do? So we took some food to them to say, hey, you know what? Your wife's in the hospital, Brian, here you go. Feed the kids, right? Another thing we did was when she got out of the hospital, she had the baby, right? We went and got him a baby. We got him a baby gift, some diapers. Okay. So all these things, because why? Because that's who we are, because we care for people, right? And I hope that you do, because if you're just doing this for the money, people are going to start running away from you, right? So what we did, we really engaged ourselves. We were constantly following. We brought Mr. Thomas to meet the husband and the wife. So Mr. Thomas was there as well, meeting them. They still weren't ready. Like I said, it wasn't until, like I said, 4 months in December, they finally got started. Finally got started. But had we stopped after maybe 2 attempts, 3 attempts, maybe 4 attempts, they would not be in this business today. Okay, so do you get the message that you're gonna have to sometimes follow up with people? And these are business owners. So we saw a lot of value in them right off from the very beginning, okay? So we did that. Now, what are they doing right now? This individual actually is, so the individual that got him in is Ed. So Ed is the one, he's at 100-point customer right now. What did he do to get his 100 points? Well, I don't see that he's on the call.
No, he's having troubles logging in.
Oh, he's having trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, so what he will share with you, and I got to talk to him, so this is basically me telling his story since he's not on the call himself. But what he's been starting to do, which we all should be doing, is he's talking to everybody. He's talking to everybody. I don't care who they are. So he's constantly talking to people, talking to people, talking to people. And so now he's over 100 customer points just by talking to people, okay? Now, what I will tell you, there was something that sparked him. Something that sparked him in the business, because he's been in the business for, it hasn't been a year yet, but something kicked off. Because if you've been in the business, it takes about 3 months for your residuals to kick in, okay? Well, his team has continued to grow. And so what he noticed, as a progression happens, 3 months later, your team starts growing, their residuals start, kicking in, as well as the person who brought them in, who sponsored them. So what happened was that check got bigger. And so he got excited. He called me and he was like, "What happened?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "I just saw my residual paycheck." I go, "Well, let's see, what month are we on?" It's been about over 4 months since you've had new IBOs. They've gotten customers. Guess what? You're getting paid overrides now. He's like, "Oh my gosh." So he got so excited, he got so sparked. So guess what? He started talking to more people about the business. So then that led us into, guess what? We met one of his newer business partners that got started. But here's how he did it. Edification. He edified me as somebody that we're working together. I'm working with this lady. We all hear the word edification, part of the system, right? Taking it off of you, not making yourself the deal, because remember, everything duplicates, good or bad. So being that he didn't want to duplicate him talking about the business, because guess what she would do if he was talking about the business? She would do exactly the same thing, and she's not ready, right? Because she's new. So what he did was he made it about me. He got her on a presentation where I presented the business. Immediately after that, we did a 3-way call. Okay, through a 3-way call, I asked, "Who do you know?" Right? Because she wasn't ready to get started right away. Well, who do you know? Well, guess what? Her nephew. So her nephew is somebody who's a sharp business owner. So we scheduled a time where we were going to do a Zoom with him and his wife right away. She wasn't in the business yet. But in the meantime, guess what I did? I plugged her into a training. Okay. So from event to event to event, remember? So the idea is to keep people engaged. So right away, I plugged her to another event. We got an exposure out of her through the second exposure, which was the training. Immediately after that, we called her, she got started. Okay, so now what happened? Obviously, we heard this about 48-hour qualification. We created the value, the importance of getting qualified immediately. So guess what? That's exactly what we did. Within 48 hours, we got her qualified. We scheduled 2 private business Zooms within her first week of business. Okay, so we did that immediately. We created that value there, right? Next. And obviously for us, oh, Mr. Navarro is on. Okay, so obviously for us, what our message was, look, we're gonna have your first presentation. But before we have your first presentation, I want everybody to be so excited and make it sound so like this something they can do. Well, how do we do that? How do we get people to say, "I think I can do this"? Well, let's get you your first promotion, your first paycheck. So that was our goal. Before we have your first presentation, we're going to be able to tell all your guests on your first presentation that guess what? I hit my first promotion, I made my first paycheck. And she was able to do that. Why? Because we got her qualified within 48 hours before her private business Zoom, her very first one, okay? Now, so through that, We got 10 plus guests confirmed, right? Okay, but here's what we did. Confirmation calls. Confirmation calls. I hope that somebody is doing confirmation calls for your guests. We do that now. We're making a habit of doing that every single time. I'll let my husband kind of share what he does when we call people. And it's as simple as this. So this is what he says when he calls people.
So I get the list. Important to get the list, and you get the phone number. I just make the call, super simple. And I'll use Miss Brewer. I'm going to use you, young lady. I says, and watch how I use the names. Hello, I'm looking for Miss, you answer the phone, you say hello, and I says, Miss Joyce? Yes. Hello, I'm calling from the regional director's office. I'm calling on behalf of Miss Rose Guerrero concerning your 6 p.m. Zoom call tonight. Oh, yeah. And thanks for reminding me is a big reply. And I said, no worries. I said, I want to make sure you have the Zoom app downloaded. Yes, I've got it downloaded. Awesome. Then I'll give you the call-in number and the password. And I give those two things right there after they get it. I says, okay, Miss Brewer, thank you. Miss Guerrero's looking forward to seeing you tonight on the call. You have a blessed day. Boom. If the answering machine will basically get the same thing. So to the point.
Yeah. So we make it a habit to do that with all the guests. I do it about an hour or so, but I also let the new IBO know to tell their guests someone will be contacting you from the office to confirm your attendance and also provide you the Zoom information or the link, okay? So then also another thing that I have new IBOs do is 15 minutes, and this is also in the Saturday training, right? 15 minutes prior is to have the IBO send out a reminder to people individually. The call's about to start in 15 minutes. Looking forward to seeing you, right? Okay, they can even send the link again, okay? Now, so then the idea is once we get all these people on the Zoom, their private business Zoom, because this is all their friends and their family members and so forth, we're gonna connect with them a little bit. You know, we're gonna talk to them, oh, hi, so-and-so, how are you? That type of thing. Well, people are jumping on the call, right? We talk to the guests, get to know them a little bit about them. And then now we're going to train the new independent business owner to thank them for getting on the Zoom call, tell them why they're doing the business. I try to tell people to state your intent for success. What does that mean? I'm going to be successful. I'm going all the way to the top. I would love for you guys to come with me. You know what I mean? So ideally, you know, not everybody has that type of posture, but I tell you what, if people can say that as a new independent business owner, if you can teach people how to say that, it makes a huge difference, okay? Now, and then edify the speaker, the person who's gonna do the presentation for you, okay? And then when we did this, we had 3 types of categories, obviously customers, somebody who has questions, and then somebody who wants to get started. What we did was immediately, we told everybody, and we know everybody who's on the call, if you are just a number 3, which means you just want to save money, become a customer, support the person who got you on this call, go ahead and drop off the call, okay? So we go ahead and give the permission for everybody who's not interested in the business to get off the call, and anybody who's interested in still learning more, whether they have questions or they're ready to get started, we ask them to stay on the call. We're gonna take about 5 to just 7 minutes at the most to kind of go through what your first week in the business would look like, okay? So then again, so for us, the concept is to get them an idea to say, what would I be doing? I wanna know what I need to be doing. Of course, keeping it super, super simple, helping them understand the concept of what's gonna happen. Set the expectations is key, right? So what I do is pretty much just cover CQ, how to get qualified with 3 services, but I talk about 5. I talk about 5 and 2. So 5 services, $200. And I talk about getting your first 2 business partners. Now, how are we gonna do that? We're gonna have 2 private business Zooms within your first week of business. We could do 2 separate days. So this way, if one doesn't work this day, then we can have a fallback day. So the idea is through that, we're looking to get your first 2 business partners. 5 services would be $200, 2 business partners would be $50 each, so $300 total. That's what I'm setting the expectation, what we would do, and then the type of inviting script that we would be doing with them, so they have the concept that, oh, I would be just reading something. That's pretty simple, right? So that's what we do. 5 minutes, literally, no more than that, 5 to 7 minutes, okay? So everyone who stays on the call, obviously we know who those people are. We're tracking who those people are. And then the goal is to do a 3-way call immediately. And that's exactly what we did. We called every single person right after, whoever was, obviously the people who dropped off, we will deal with them later. They're going to be customers, right? So the people who stayed on, those are the red apples or the green apples, correct? Right. So that's what we're going after. So through that, what we got was somebody who on the spot wanted to get started. So what do? I didn't send him the link. I kept him on the phone and we walked him through that process step by step by step until he got a team ID number. Okay. So again, we're not just saying, here you go ahead and sign yourself out. Tell me when you're done. Give me your team ID. No, remember, these are babies. These are new babies that we have to walk through every step of the way. Okay. So once that happened, then we set up obviously a time for a launch, right? And in the interim, right? Because when he could do the next time for the launch was a few days away, I got him plugged into what? Another event, to a training. So he plugged into a training, okay? Now, I will tell you, doubt creeps in. Can we agree? If you haven't already in your business wanted to quit, then you might be taking it easy. You might be doing this business like literally, or not even doing this business. You're not doing this business. Because seriously, we had that happen to us where we felt like, should we be doing this? I just feel like everything's going against us. We all go through that. So guess what? This new IBO felt exactly the same way. And so this is where doubt will creep in, but at the same time, what did somebody do? And I have to give props to this person. Mr. Navarro, if you can unmute yourself, if we can get you unmuted.
See if I can unmute you.
Let me see if we can unmute you.
I might have you, Ed.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
There you go.
Okay, I want you to share, and you just told me this when we talked. So when that doubt crept in for that new IBO, what did you do?
Basically, what I did was just told them that I felt the same way when I started. It was really difficult for me to get outside my box, basically. But as I said, I know what you're going through. I went through the same thing, and basically told them, how to overcome it in a way. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
one thing is he did a 3-way call. So the newer IBO, the new IBO he was talking to, when he found out that newer IBO was having doubts, he said, give me on a 3-way call right away, like now. Give me on a 3-way call. So he did. Right. He got on a 3-way call with that newer IBO, and then guess what? He had a conversation. Feel, felt, found. Feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. Here's what I found, right? That's exactly what he did. And I have to give him props because that's exactly what we need to do. Because guess what? He wasn't lying. He felt the same way. It's absolutely true. We all go through those emotional roller coasters. Can we agree? Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and then what we did was, and like I said, I kind of went through your story, Mr. Navarro. Just as far as if you want to share a little bit, because you've been getting, you're the 100-point champion. In fact, you got a letter from Mr. Provenzano, the co-founder, with the 100-point pin in the mail. That was nice, right? Took a picture, sent that to us, right? Okay, so what have you been doing to get all those customers?
Well, I'm actually, I just talk to everybody and anybody that I come across, just to let them know about the business, invitation basically. Ask them what they're doing, but either way, I'm always constantly talking to somebody, because to me, it's just the numbers. The more people you talk to, the more people you know about, they find out about it, then the better for you and for them.
Yep.
So that's what I do. I'm just steady and constantly do it every day.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we give you your props because your team is growing. It's growing big, right? Because all you do is just talk. You don't get attached to the decision, right? Right. Exactly. Okay. So, and then what we did from there, obviously 3-way call. He did that with a new IBO. And then we set up a time to meet with the wife, because the husband had seen the business. He signed up, but the wife hadn't seen it. So we set up a time, and guess what? We did that. We shared the business with the wife just recently. She's actually, they're looking at ID Seal and the promo right now, right? Vivint ID Seal, where you get $200 Visa and a free camera, buy one, get, yeah. So they're checking right now with their landlord, because they live in a duplex, if they can get Vivint. So they're literally, once they get that, they're qualified already. They're making their list. So again, we got past that phase, but again, that was something to keep in mind, is just that whole feel, found, you know, going through that process, because we all go through that. Okay. All right. So now let me talk about the next business partner. Okay. So this person that's also Mr. Navarro's organization, Mr. Brian Paulino, he's the business owner. He's the one that we talk about is follow up, and I call it dripping on. So we dripped on him constantly as far as adding value to him and things, him and his wife. Okay. I will tell you that there was another IBO that was from a different organization, we found out, that went to this gentleman, okay, prior. You know what that person did? They went and just tried to make him a customer. Never shared the business with them at all. All they focused on was, I can save you money. I can save you money. I can save you money. Well, guess what? Not only did he not become a customer of that person, but number two, he said, had I known about this business, I would have done it back then. But she never told me. So do you see the importance of always sharing the business with people first? Okay, so that's exactly what ended up happening is we came in later on, he saw the business through us, and then through the constant follow-up, guess what? He got started, right? So what's happening in his organization? I will tell you, ever since he started, he's been hitting bonus checks. His first and he started in December, he hit the quick start bonus at that time, but every month he's been getting either the 200, or this past month, for example, May, he got 11 services, $600. Okay, so he sets these goals to say, I'm going to get this many customers, and I'm just getting these bonuses, but he's focused on regional director. That's what he's focused on right now. Okay, now same thing with him. Every time somebody walks into a store, if he goes out and about to go buy anything, he's talking just like Mr. Navarro. He's talking to everybody. Talk, everybody. One thing that he did share with people that is as simple as this, he gives out peeking cards. He gives these little peeking cards, and he said that that's easy. I just give, you know? And then another thing he gives out is customer business cards. Okay, so when people come in and he talks to them, he gives them little business cards that he hands out to them. So this way they can call him for services. He said that's been helping him a lot too. How simple is that? If you peek him a little bit in it, but you say, well, you know what, I'm not ready to do anything. Let me leave you my card. And guess what? He's gotten customers through that way as well. Okay, let's see, people, anybody who wanted to think about it, anybody who's not ready, don't have the money, guess what we did? Sign him up as a customer. We've gotten several customers for him through just saying, well, you know what? Let me show you how this works. Let me ask you this. If you're looking at this business, right? Do you think that if you're a believer in something, that it's easier for you to promote it? Of course, right? Yeah, of course. That's common sense, right? So why don't we do this? Why don't we look at what services we can convert to where you can become a believer, and when you're ready to get started, guess what? You'll start getting paid on those services immediately. So let's do that. So that's exactly what we do. We're signing up customers, people who are thinking about it, people who don't have the money. And so guess what? His points have been jumping up, okay? Now, he's also gotten a few business partners this past couple of weeks as well. One of these, I actually sent a text message. This is, again, the whole concept of follow-up. So what was it? What was that? Memorial Day, right? So Memorial Day, guess what I did? I like to do, remember the dripping we talk about? So what I did was I sent several people messages. I said, hi, so-and-so, I hope you and the family are having a great Memorial weekend. That's all I said. Guess what she said the next day? So that was on Monday. Tuesday morning, I get a text message from her. Good morning. Thank you so much. Sorry for delayed communications. It's been hectic. However, I'm finally ready to get this ACN journey started and join the team. I will contact Veronica today in hopes to get together and get started. Okay, which is crazy because guess what? She was supposed to get started back in, I think it was the end of January, February, before this coronavirus thing. She's ended up holding off because she said, with everything going on, you know, I'm a single parent. I just don't know if I can do it right now. I need to stay focused on providing for my kids right now. I said, okay, that's understandable. I totally agree. We'll stay in contact. Okay. So every so often, and then guess what? During that time, got the text message, she responded back, she got started. Okay. Well, that girl, she ended up, she's basically one service. We got AT&T. She got several services already. Once the AT&T service kicks in, she's qualified. She's qualified, and she's already got her first promotion, first paycheck. All right. Now, another person that I want to share that is really near and dear to me, because this person, when I heard her story, is absolutely incredible. This person, I will tell you, Mr. Paulino, he edified me. He did it the right way. He took it off of him, even though guess what? He can do the business. He can share the business. He's amazing at it now. I'm so proud of him and his wife. They are amazing. And now I'm like, you guys can do it. You guys can do it. I've walked away and let Veronica take over and qualify somebody, because guess what? They can do it now, right? I believe in them. I've seen them, right? So what he did was he took himself out of the equation. He edified me. I came and I shared the business to this girl. Okay. Well, she got started. Okay. Well, this girl, I did not know her story. This lady is considered, her business is considered non-essential. She's a massage therapist. She's been out of work since this epidemic. Okay. She's been living in a hotel. Okay. She's a single mother with a little girl. She has no income coming in, because guess what? The income, the unemployment has run out because she's 1099. So any unemployment she's gotten, it's gone. So she's literally living from whatever she can, doing, you know what I mean? And so when people hearing her story, it really got me, and she's even pulled away from her family because of some personal issues, we'll just say, and valid reasons. I will tell you, valid reasons. Sometimes getting toxic people out of your life is absolutely important, right? And she did. So even at that, how many of you guys, I question you, how many of you, knowing that situation, would you started a business knowing you have no income coming in, you have no home, and you're a single parent? You know, you have no job, you have no business. But she did. She did. And I will tell you what, she started talking to people, and this girl, I am so proud of her. I will tell you, the first 2 times I sat down with her, she didn't have enough courage to make any phone calls, because she's been, in a sense, emotionally beaten down. Can we agree, right? You know, not just through her business, but also emotionally, okay? We'll just say that. But even at that, 2 times I sat down with her to make some invite calls. She couldn't do it. Emotionally, mentally, she couldn't. And guess what? Sometimes we have to be patient with people. And I was. By the 3rd time I sat down with her, she did. And she was so excited. And she's like, I told her, I go, I'm so proud of you. You did amazing. She's like, I can't believe I'm so proud of myself too. And you know what I mean? So sometimes we have to be patient. We have to meet them where they're at. And I'm so glad I did. And since that time, we've had over 5 exposures, multiple people, right? No family. All these people are former clients with no attachments. These are people that she would do, you know, like I said, these are clients of hers. And so one of the persons I said, hey, you know, because we're getting rejection, staying positive. She is so positive considering all this, right? Well, even one of them, I said, okay, this couple we did a presentation for, right? And I says, what are you willing to do? And I told her a story of this girl named Callie, and this is a true story. She's a young girl. She's trying to go for a quick start bonus at the time. I asked her, what are you willing to do? We literally need to get a few more customers to get you your first bonus. I said, what can we do? And she said, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, make cookies, you know, wash a car, mow a lawn, like what? Make a dish? Are you good at something? Like, can you sew? What are you good at? You know what I mean? And she goes, well, I could make cookies. I could wash their car. I could clean their bathroom. I'm like, okay, perfect. If it comes to that, don't be afraid to say it, right? So we went into their house. This gentleman, I have never met somebody more analytical than me, and he was totally analytical. He had a graph of what his energy bill was, to where he showed he would only be saving a few cents per month. So I was like, oh, wow. He's like, you know what? Let me think about it. Let me evaluate it, blah, blah, blah. So then I looked at Callie and I says, okay, like she knew the cue, because I told her, if I look at you and I give you the cue, like, okay, this is your cue to say what you're willing to do. Okay. So then she said that. Oh my gosh, this really means a lot to me. I'm so close to this promotion. I'm willing to bake you cookies. I will wash your car. I will clean your bathroom. Well, guess what he said? Well, you know what? I can just try it out. You know what? I'll just try it out. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You know what? He ended up signing up as her customer. Because why? Sometimes, even though we're asking for a favor, sometimes people, I don't know why they are, even though we know we're the type of people who do for favors for other people, correct? We love it, right? But other people sometimes, if you say, look, can you do this for me? But I'm willing to do this for you. This is how much it means to me. It gets them to the next level. And that's exactly the conversation I had with this gal. So said, what are you willing to do? She goes, well, I can bake. I said, okay, great. We're going to throw it out. I said, I will do it with you. If we have to go make some, in fact, I'm going to make some tamales, I'll put that out there. If we need to make enchilada casserole, if I have to make the cake with you, make cookies, I'm going to be in the kitchen with you doing it. That's what we're going to be doing together. I'm not going to say you go do it. We're doing it together. So guess what? That's exactly what we did. What do you want? And she goes, I like chocolate cake. So guess what? She became that couple that we showed the business to. They're signing up. They signed up actually for a customer for her. We are baking her a cake tonight, and we are taking him a cake tomorrow as a thank you for being her customer. Okay, and they are looking at Vivint, and they're looking for Flash, because right now we're going to save them like $80 a month, right? So they were super excited about that. So we're looking at signing them up for for Flash as well, for her and him, separate accounts. So how incredible is that? So that is so, so important. Again, I wanted to say that because sometimes we don't, we say favor, we get offended, we get hurt. Instead of saying, how bad do you want this? How much are you willing to do this? Because I guarantee if you had a list of things and after somebody said, well, let me think about it, let me get back to you. And if you said, well, hey, you know what? I totally understand. But look, just so you know, I'm willing to wash your car. I'm willing to bake you cookies. I'm really good at making enchiladas, whatever it is that you're good at. I'm willing to do that for you. Just so you know, right? And that's exactly how much further would you be in your business? Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to just cover some real quickly before we close out some.
Questions.
Oh, okay. Do we have,
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick. We have a couple of questions. Do you have the new IBO invite
On their own or with a coaching, or be with them during?
Oh, for invites, what I do, if I can be with them, obviously we should be. Always, 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 always be with your person when you're doing invites. So what I did with one of the people, I actually was not able to, so I practiced with her. I listened to her do it multiple times. After I heard her I was like, you're good. You got this. Okay. So yes, absolutely. You should be there physically, but because of this whole situation, obviously we can't always be right there by them. But for sure, you should at least practice, make sure, call me first. I've even offered to say, put me in a 3-way call. I'll stay on mute the whole time. Do that as well. So this way I can coach you. So this way we can see, hey, when you get off the phone, I'll say, that was great. Hey, maybe be a little more excited, whatever it is that we have to do, right? Okay, so that's another, and what was it?
To add to that though, too, is not just like, okay, call your 25 people.
No.
It was call 1, maybe 2, and then you call me back. Tell me how it went. So it was kind of monitoring them as they went to kind of evaluate everything. So that really helped. So
the peak. Okay, so that wasn't Mr. Navarro. That was actually Mr. Brian. So for the peaking cards, one of them card was just a peaking about making extra money. Okay, I don't have an example of that. I don't bring it. He had it. I wish.
No, he's got it. Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to share that. He's on the call. I don't know if he wants to or get on
Unmute
the
himself
video and just share it. Just share. I mean, he might be busy. He's got customers right now because he's a business owner. So he might have it on, but not being able to respond. But it's just one card was basically about making extra money, right? And the other one was just about being a customer. Okay, again, no logos. We can't put logos.
Yeah.
You can't use AT&T. You can't put Vivint. We can't do that. So it's just about customers, but he also would communicate with people too. Okay. So now let me just cover real quick. I'm going to cover some of the key points that I hope you got from some of these stories. Number one, the importance of follow up or dripping on people, right? It is so, so important. I hope I proved that enough, right? The next point is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That is so, so true. Okay. And the next is to talk to everyone. The more people you talk to, the more business will grow, whether it's customers or business partners, right? The next thing is importance of edification. It is so important to get yourself out of the equation. Everything duplicates. When you make yourself the deal, Your new person that's hearing you talk about the business will do exactly the same thing you do. Okay. Next is the importance of a three-way call. Again, how are we going to train somebody unless we have to have that person on the other end listening to the conversation. Everything's a training, right? And next is the importance of who do you know? Who do you know that I can talk to right now? The next is the importance of from event to event to event, right? From one event to let me get you plugged into training. Okay. All right, the next is 48-hour CQ if possible. And then 2 private business receptions, first week in business, right? 5 and 2, 5 and 2. The next is confirmation calls. So important to have somebody to do those confirmation. It ups the percentage that people are going to show up on your call. Okay, your statistics jump up dramatically by having somebody do that confirmation call. And then that 15-minute reminder from the independent business owner. Next is to teach new IBOs what to say to open, right? You got to coach them on what to say. Now, I know we can agree. We've done this through testimonials. You can coach somebody, and sometimes they still do this, right? We know that, right? But do your best, right? And then set the expectations for new people. You know, that's what I did when I said those people who are or have questions, want to get started, stay on the call. What did I do? I set those expectations immediately of what our first week was going to look like, right? 5 and 2, how we were going to do that, okay? Next, take immediate action. Be quick. You ready to get started? Great. Okay, I'm going to walk you through the process right now. I'm not going to send you the link. Let's do it right now. And that's exactly what we did. We signed them out. Fill, found when necessary. Put yourself in other people's shoes. And I think we all can. The longer you're in this business, you're going to have more stories that you're going to be able to relate to other people, other new people. The importance of showing the business to people rather than just trying to make a customer, right? And we learned that. Somebody could have had a huge organization right now, but they were so focused on just getting them as a customer. And then do something, even if it's just freaking baking cards, baking cards, you know? Enroll people immediately, even if it's just a customer for now. I don't have the money. That's okay. We understand. We'll follow up with you, but let's show you how this business works, right? Let's make you a believer in what it is we do. Let's start with you, okay? Get yourself out of the way. Always get yourself out of the way. And then what's your excuse? Hearing that young lady's story, living in a motel right now with her daughter, with no income coming in, with no job, with no business. What's your excuse, honestly? And how bad do you want this? What are you willing to do to get what it is that you want? Okay. So with that being said, I hope you guys got something out of tonight's call. You know, it's a blessing today to be able to share from my heart some of the experience that we personally have been going through and some of the amazing individuals that we get to meet through this business. You know, we are paying it forward in so many ways because there's reasons why people cross their paths. It's not always about making money, but it's about, you know, getting to know their situation and to have empathy and to, you know, if they stay or they leave, the point is I want them to always remember how much we care, how much, you know, it is that we could make an impact in their life in one way or another. So with that being said,
tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Don't miss it. Miss Jocelyn Driscoll's going to be rocking the line again, starting that week off. So look forward to seeing everybody on there. So, but with that being said, from El Nacho Libre and Hector, God bless.
God bless everyone.